So this right here is a John Deere 4640 universal display. Now this display, when put in a piece of John Deere equipment, can do a lot of really cool things. However, in order to use all the functionality of this monitor, you have to pay like $1,800 per year. Now, this is also a John Deere 4640 display, and it looks a heck of a lot like this John Deere 4640 display. The difference is that this one is fully unlocked. I can use everything that this monitor is capable of, and I will never have to pay a subscription on it ever again. This video, while shorter than most of my normal videos, will probably piss a lot of people off, so let's get into it. Before I get into how I am running my farming operation with 0 subscriptions, according to my upload schedule, this will be going up on Easter Sunday. So, first of all, happy Easter, and if you're currently sitting in a family room surrounded by your family members watching this video, pause it, put it down, watch it later. So the title of this video and that intro, this is not a joke. This right here is actually a fully unlocked Gen 4 4640 universal display. You see if I go down here, everything is green. And it's not a subscription. So a lot of you guys have been watching my videos, and especially the group of you guys that have contacted me about AgriGPS receivers know that I hate subscriptions. I can't stand them. Even outside of farming in my personal life, I have very few subscriptions. I mean, I have Amazon Prime, Amazon Music, and Angel Studios. Those are basically the only three subscriptions that I have in my personal life. And the sad truth is that the corporate structure here in the United States and a lot of the world is going to a system of you will own nothing and be happy about it. And that doesn't sit well with me. So let's get into how I am able to do basically all the functionalities that John Deere offers with no subscriptions, and how I did it, and why I think that some of the ways that, and obviously like John Deere is going to be picked on in this video because we primarily run John Deere equipment. I mean, my Challenger isn't here, but still running John Deere technology in it. But it applies to a lot of different companies in the ag world and how they're starting to price structure stuff that looks good up front, but in the long term actually is not beneficial to the farmer. So in the John Deere technology world, there are 2 primary pieces of hardware that you need in order to complete your technology package. You need a GPS receiver, like what's on the roof right, oh boy, looking into a camera backwards is hard, right there, and you also need the monitor, which I was showing you guys earlier. Now, the kicker is that usually you need to buy them separately, and they each have their own capability, like tier list. So if you want to have the full capabilities of each, not only are you paying a subscription for the monitor, but you're also paying a subscription for the GPS receiver. So take the new John Deere 7500 GPS receiver, for example. If you were to go buy one brand new today, I believe the USD list price on them is like $4,300. That will get you what they call SF1 accuracy. Now SF1 accuracy, it's pretty dang good, to be honest, for a free accuracy level, but if you were to plant half a field, stop, go to lunch, or fill it with seed, and then you're going to start again, you're not going to be where you need to be. There's going to be a weird gap, or your guest row is going to be narrower or wider than it really should be. And that's just not acceptable for a lot of people in today's farming industry. Especially when you get to a farm like ours, where we have some organic acres as well, and we have a 60-foot row crop cultivator. That thing needs to be precise. If it's not precise, we're either taking out crop or not taking out weeds, and that could be a major issue. So having that sub-inch accuracy, the ability to come back, months after we plant and be absolutely perfect, is pretty crucial to our farming operation. So if you want to buy the latest GPS receiver from John Deere outright, you pay $4,300, and then if you want to have what they call their SFRTK, it is $1,500 a year per GPS receiver, on top of the purchase price that you already paid. And that is the easiest part of the John Deere pricing structure. From here, it just gets wacky, confusing, and honestly, if I was to go through the pricing structure of John Deere, that could be a video in itself, and it'd probably be a half-hour long, because I swear there's 20 different options to get all the latest technology. There's three main new pieces of technology: G5 display, G5 Plus display, and the new GPS receiver, the 7500. And the options that you can get to buy it are insane, and I don't think any of them are that great. Are you confused yet? Because I sure am, and I'm the one making the video. So, here is a John Deere G5 display. Now they have two of these new displays, the G5 and the G5 Plus. So basically the exact same display, just this one's a bit smaller and the G5 Plus is a bit larger and nicer to look at. I bought this one outright, paid $6,500 for it. All it can do is auto track and mapping, which when I started farming here on my own, that's all I needed. So I got my cell phone down here because I have some notes on what everything costs, and it still doesn't have all the information. So when you go purchase technology from John Deere, there's two main ways to do it. Either you can buy it outright, you can buy the hardware outright. So I paid $6,500 for this, and I own it, it's mine. I can auto track with it for as long as this thing works, right? And there's also something that they call the Essentials package, which pisses me off to the end of the world, but another video, another time. So this G5 display, if you want to go buy it like I did, they're $6,500 USD, or like $64.95. And now, if you want to get section control on it, that is actually permanent activation now. So you can buy section control and have on it forever. The problem is that section control and row sense cost $2,000. Okay, so now we're at $8,500 for a display that can do auto track, section control, so turn off rows of a planter or nozzles on the sprayer, stuff like that, and row sense. So if you have feelers on your corn head, it'll follow the row. Now, if you want to do anything above that, like turn automation, in-field data sharing, auto path, implement guidance, you gotta start paying a subscription. I think it's like $750 a year. So you're already at $8,500. Now you're paying $750 a year more just to use its full capabilities. And then you have the G5 Plus, which is this, but bigger. Is it the same pricing structure? No, it is not. And now, if I'm wrong on any of this pricing stuff, guys, leave a comment down below. So I've been trying to Google it and reach out to people that have experience with this. And to be honest, I'm getting some conflicting answers. So I'm taking the best of my knowledge here and showing it to you guys. But the G5 Plus with auto track and section control, I don't know if you can buy the G5 Plus with just auto track. I think you have to buy it with section control. If I'm wrong, let me know. $9,700 USD. So you're already at, what's that, $1,000 more than you paid for this with section control and row sense. And then on top of that, you have to buy row sense separate. So it's $9,700 for auto track and section control, and then you got paid $2,000 extra for row sense. This one, you paid $2,000 extra, you got section control and row sense. Doesn't make any sense, okay? Yep, and then the same thing is $750 per year for the Advanced Automation 4.0 package. Cool. That's if you were to buy it outright. Okay, that's if you were to pay to have the hardware unlocked forever on those lower tier stuff. And then we get into the Precision Essentials kit. I'm just at a loss for words for this thing. And yet it's so popular. I don't know why people are falling for this. So with the Precision Essentials kit, you get a GPS receiver, a monitor, and a modem. Now we're throwing in another piece of technology, which honestly the modems are pretty cool. I do really like the modems. I usually just buy them on auction for like a couple $100 and they work perfectly fine. So the modem isn't that big of a deal to be included. It is nice to have, but I don't think it's really a big value adder to this package per se. Okay, so if you were to buy the Essentials package with the monitor, GPS receiver, and the modem, with just a normal G5 display, the hardware purchase price is $2,650. And if you get the G5 Plus display, it's $3,200. Now, you purchase the hardware and the monitor that comes with it is a paperweight. You just paid $3,200 for it, and you can use it for mapping, making boundaries, or running a baler. That is it. You can't even do something as basic as auto track with that unless you start paying a subscription. So let's talk about the subscription prices. Okay, so let's say most people go with the G5 Plus because it is a nicer display, a little bit bigger display. So you're already $3,200 into this, and you have something that you can't even utilize for 95% of farming operations. Okay, so if you want auto track, just straight auto track, no section control, no row sense, no nothing, just be able to drive the tractor straight and back and forth, straight in the field. It is $1,900. The first time you pay it is a 2-year license, and then after the first 2 years, it's a 1-year license. So $1,900 for 2 years, then after 2 years is up, $1,900 every year. Okay? And then if you want the Essentials subscription, it is auto track, section control, and row sense. And that's $2,000 a year on top of the $3,200 price. So you are already at $5,200 if you go with the G5 Plus kit after year 1. And like I said, you do get the GPS receiver with it, but at this level, that is still locked to only SF1. So basically, if you are planting or doing any like high precision stuff with it, you can't really use these that well, like especially in our farm where you have the organic. There's no way I'm planting with anything less than RTK. It's just not gonna happen. Okay, so then we get to the Essentials and SF-RTK. So that has auto track, section control, row sense, and then you get RTK and the GPS receiver. And that is $3,500 a year. Okay, so now we're at what, $6,700? And that's just on year 1. On year 2, we would be at, what did I say it was, $3,500? Year 2, we're already at $10,000. Okay? And then it's just another $3,500 a year after that. So it's not gonna take you very long to get to $20,000. And then there's the advanced license. Okay, so you pay $3,200 for your display and your GPS receiver and your modem. And now you get everything, right? You get Automation 4.0, the display's fully unlocked, the GPS receiver's fully unlocked. A 1-year license is $4,250. Okay, so you add that to the $3,200. So after year 1, you're at $7,450. Year 2, you're at $12,000. Year 3, you're at $16,000. And remember what I said about that display being a paperweight if you don't pay that subscription? What a lot of people have been doing, and it's actually screwed quite a few people over that didn't understand what was all going on here with this Essentials kit, is they would buy this Essentials kit, right? So they have a GPS receiver that works on SF1 just fine. So they're paying $2,600 to get the kit, and then they're going on Facebook and they're selling the display. Okay, the display works for a year potentially, right? Especially if they got the cheapest option for auto track. So they sell the display for $2,000, $2,500. They basically get almost all their money back. They have a free GPS receiver and a free modem. Okay, the problem is that the person that buys that GPS receiver, that buys that monitor, might not understand that it's on the Essentials package. So they use it for, part of a year. It works great. Then all of a sudden, they plug it in their tractor the following year, it's a paperweight. They can't do anything with it. And then they call up their John Deere dealer, they're like, why is this not working? And then they learned that in order to even use it for what they want to use it for, they have to pay $1,900, $2,000, $3,500, $4,250 per year to use this monitor that they thought was good. The Essentials package has created a turmoil in the used market. And being a GPS dealer myself, which I'll get into here in a little bit, but it's not the primary focus of this video, I promise. I have a lot of customers that call me and say, hey, I just found this G5 Plus display on Facebook for $2,500. This is great. Will your GPS receiver work with it? I'm like, yes, it will for a little bit. and then you got to pay $2,000 a year after that. They're like, what? Yeah, it pisses me off. So basically what John Deere is doing is they're luring all these people in with this low upfront cost, and then it ends up costing way more in the long run than it would be if you were to look at other options to do the exact same thing. And that's why I'm making this video. You know, does the Essentials package make sense for some people? Yes, I'm sure it does. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of people commenting down below that they bought the Essentials package and it's such a great deal, and they'll probably list their reasons why, right? But for my farm, it's not, because I look at money in the long term, right? It's after 3 years, I still plan on, I mean, you know, this is very expensive equipment. I want to be able to use it for a long time. And that is something John Deere has done very good with, is for the fact that, you know, for example, take this. This tractor is like a 2000 or 2001. It's as old as I am, okay? I was born in 2001. And I can take this brand new monitor and a brand new GPS receiver, plug it into this tractor, and basically do everything. It's incredible. I mean, there's not many companies that allow you to retrofit the new stuff into 20-plus-year-old equipment with zero issues. I mean, it's fantastic how easy it actually works. So when I buy this stuff, I expect to use it for a really long time. I mean, how many people out there are still using John Deere 2600 or 2630 monitors that are 10, 15 plus years old? A lot of them. So the only way I really see the Precision Essentials kit making a lot of sense is if you want to upgrade every time John Deere comes up with something new, if you want to upgrade. Now, I've heard people say that John Deere is going to have a good upgrade path. You know, don't worry about the long term. By the time the long term comes, they'll have a new thing and we'll offer a good trade-in, yada, yada, yada. Well, they say that now, right? And they might not. I don't know. But for someone like me, where these monitors can already do more than I need, and I just want to buy them, and I want to not worry about it for the next 10 years. Here's how you do it. So first off, let's talk about GPS receivers. Now, you can buy the new John Deere GPS receivers with a permanent RTK activation if you want to run mobile or radio RTK, which are both good options, but I was having a hard time finding pricing on that, and I found a slightly used John Deere 7500 GPS receiver that was permanently unlocked, and it was $14,000 by itself. So take that for what you will. So like I mentioned earlier, I am a dealer for a company called AgriGPS. Now I promise not the primary focus of the video, but it is part of how I accomplish a subscription-free and cheaper technology package on my farm. So here on the 8410T, and there's actually one over on my Challenger tractor over there as well on the roof. We got the AgriGPS CRG GPS receiver, full RTK, no subscriptions. This one is $4,600. We've been using them for 4 years. You can do everything a John Deere GPS receiver can do, except for a grain cart machine sync where the combine driver operates, controls the speed and stuff of the grain cart. It's the only thing we cannot do. Autopath, implement guidance, turn automation, all that fancy stuff we can still do. Now we do this by utilizing public RTK networks. A lot of states have free RTK networks. So I'm in Minnesota. I'm kind of on the border of Minnesota and Iowa. Both of those states have a DOT-run RTK network. So if you live in those states, I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. I'll put the map of the United States up. All the green states that are up, you are already paying for RTK when you pay your taxes every year. And they're actually really good networks. I mean, 20 years ago, were they kind of flaky? Yes, but they've been improved a ton. Like I said, we've been using it for 4 years, and I can come back year after year after year and be within a ½ inch of where I was the previous year. I mean, it's really good accuracy. And then for the states that don't have public RTK networks, we have the CRG Plus, which hardware-wise is identical to the CRG, but it has access to a private network. Same thing. It costs $1,000 more up front, but there's no subscriptions, no fees after that, and you have access to the 0.1 private network, which is also very good. So I know a lot of you guys that watch the videos are customers of mine. I got a lot of you guys running these. If you have questions, I'll leave a link down below. But that's all I'm going to talk about that with this video. Let's talk about monitors. So John Deere's had a bunch of different monitors over the years. One of the most popular monitors was the John Deere 2630. And they're still really popular today, even though they came out in like, oh boy, I'm guessing, but 2008, 9-ish, if I had to guess. The reason that they're so popular, people love them still, is that first of all, they still work good. And secondly, when you bought an activation for those monitors, it was permanent. So if you bought section control, you had it for life. If you bought row sense, you had it for life. Now, they don't have all the capabilities of the new ones, but for a lot of farmers, they don't need all that fancy stuff. They just need something that works and works good. And that's why the 2630s, even though they're, getting close to 15, 20 years old, they still bring a good price. Like if you go on eBay, $4,000 to $5,000 will buy you one of these monitors. It's insane how well they keep their value. And now I don't sell John Deere GPS stuff, but I get asked all the time, hey, I want to buy a GPS receiver. Do you happen to have a 2630 that I could buy as well? And I don't, but it's amazing how much people love those monitors. Now, when they went to the Gen 4s or the 4640s, they got rid of those permanent activations. Or so they tell you. So, in North America, they got rid of the permanent activation. So when they went to the Gen 4, you had to pay a subscription for basically everything. You want section control? Subscription. You want row sense? You want AutoPath? You want in-field data sharing? You want implement guidance? It's a subscription. And my family, we got 2 of these, and we've been paying subscriptions on them for years now, and kind of sucks. But I started doing some research, started talking to some people, and I learned something. That's only a North American thing. If you go over to Europe, the Gen 4 displays, you could buy them fully unlocked permanently. Now, I've tried to look into why they did it in Europe, not North America, and I can't really get a straight answer. I think it's something to do with the law structure of the actual, countries over there. But I'm not for sure. If you guys know, if I have any European watchers here, let me know down below why you guys can get permanent activations, fully unlocked monitors, and we can't here in North America. Now, for the Gen 5 displays, they went away from this. So if you want to get the fancy stuff on Gen 5 display in Europe, you now have to pay a subscription. But that is how I was able to get this fully unlocked Gen 4 display. This is a European model. I found a guy that imports these and sells them in North America. And sure enough, they work exactly the same. The only thing that is different on this monitor is the clock. So let's see. This one says 21:35 for a time. That would be 9 o'clock. Okay, it's actually 12:25 right now. So the clock, from what I have been told, will always be wrong. But everything else works perfectly fine. I don't care. And now, this was expensive to purchase. This is a slightly used monitor, and I paid 10 grand for it. And I could have bought a brand new one. The guy had some, but I forget it was either $1,000 or $2 more. But I mean, these things really don't break, so I was willing to save the extra couple grand to get a slightly used one. But if you look at it, especially the Precision Essentials package, if you were to get one of these monitors, pair it with an AgriGPS CRG, and not pay any subscriptions, after like 2 or 3 years, it's paid for. And after that, it's way cheaper. And now I'm not quite comparing apples to apples. And I understand that because the Essentials package comes with the G5 displays, not the G4s. So what is the difference between a G5 and a G4 display? The main thing is the form factor. The G5s boot up a little bit faster. They're a little bit less sluggish, but to be honest, they're really not that much faster from what I've seen using both of them. A little nicer display, stuff like that. The main difference is you got these two ports up here. These are both Ethernet ports. And if you were to go and buy a brand new John Deere planter, I think model year 2025 or 2026 was when they started doing this. They started running the planters over Ethernet rather than CAN bus because they're just getting so many different things on those planters that they couldn't, really reliably use the CAN bus anymore. And I think it's just the planters. The sprayers might be Ethernet now too. But as long as you don't have a brand new planter or whatever, the functionality is the exact same. You can do everything with this monitor that you can the new one. And if we're going to be frankly honest, I mean, I'm sure there's some exceptions out there, but if you are buying a brand new planter, you probably have a brand new tractor to hook up to it that has one of these displays built in already. So, the amount of farmers that applies to is much smaller than the farmers like us that are running 10-plus-year-old tractors and older equipment. So altogether, with my European Gen 4 display and my AgriGPS CRG, my total technology package is just shy of $15,000, which a lot of money, okay? The car that I drove here today cost me $2,900, okay? Just to put in perspective how insane this technology is. But the difference is that I paid $15,000 for it, and I'm done. And I probably won't have to pay, because I'm running older stuff, and I'm a small farmer, and I don't plan on buying a piece of 2026 equipment until the year 2046 or later. It's going to be way cheaper for me in the long run. And the same with a lot of farmers. And the other thing is too, is that, these European displays are fully unlocked. Look at the John Deere 2630. They're bringing almost as much now when they're 15, I don't even know how old they are, 15, 20 years old, than they did when they were new. Like, this stuff holds its value well. If I ever do get to a point where for some reason I get a brand new John Deere planter and I need to upgrade monitors, I bet I can sell this thing for dang near what I paid for it, because these are highly, highly sought after. So what do you guys think? Now, I'm sure I've ruffled more than a few feathers with a few people out there, but the beautiful thing is that you guys don't have to think the same way I do. If you would rather pay the lower upfront cost and pay more in the end and have the latest and greatest thing, awesome, more power to you. But I just wanted to show my frustrations and see what you guys think. Just to summarize my opinion, I think that in the world of agriculture in 2025 and 2026 here, where, a lot of people are struggling, we need to find as many ways to save money as we possibly can. And if you can save money and not compromise on the quality of the job you're doing or the technology that you have, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to me. But I know some people are going to think different, and I want to hear your guys' opinions on that. So that European Gen 4 display that I purchased, I'm going to be running it primarily in my tractor here, so it's going to be in there for planting. The hope is to be able to get section control and stuff working on my planter eventually. My friend and I are still working on the electric drive on the planter. We're going to be cutting it close to see if it'll happen this year or not. But we're trying our hardest. And then it'll stay in this tractor because this tractor gets put on the organic row crop cultivator. Because my dad and my brother, they plant the organic with their fancier planter, and they have the 2 GPS receivers and the AutoPath and all that cool stuff. So then I can come back, I can follow the AutoPath lines with that monitor. And then, so stay in here for that. And then it'll go into my combine in the fall, because my combine does use section control to calculate yield. And then also, if I can follow the AutoPath lines that were created by the strip till bar this last fall, that'd be pretty cool. So, yeah. Anyways, happy Easter. I think that is all for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.